Hi everyone, welcome to Lucid Main's Current Affairs of Neo IAS. In today's video, we will be discussing Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, also called the Pm-Kisan scheme. In this video, we will be discussing the salient features, the significance and limitations of Pm-Kisan scheme. We are aware of the fact that post-independence, India was facing high incidence of hunger and acute malnutrition. Our policy makers focused primarily on raising agricultural output and improving food security. As a result, India became food self-sufficient by 1960s. Today, India is also a net food exporting country. But on the other hand, raising farmers' income was neglected. As a result, farmers' income remained low all through the years. This, coupled with fluctuating nature of farm income, led to losses and indebtedness. The high incidence of poverty among farm households is a sad reality in India today. The agrarian distress in 1990s has worsened in recent years. The number of farmer suicides have increased manifold during the period 1991-2004. The income gap between Indian farmer and non-agrarian worker is ever widening. The major reason for agrarian distress in India is low income. In this picture, you can see farmers protesting with their farm produce because of the fall in prices of vegetables and fruits in Madhya Pradesh in 2017. Low price realization for farm produce, especially during bumper crop, is a major reason behind low farmer income. This has led to distress sale and loss to thousands of farmers across India. This, coupled with rising input costs and falling farm productivity, has pushed farmers to the verge of indebtedness. About 46% of India's population depends on agriculture for their livelihood. So, land in India is truly overcrowded. Another reason for low farm income is lack of investment and climate dependent nature of Indian agriculture. Weak forward linkages like access to food processing industry and market is another reason. Also, inadequate infrastructure and other structural issues like the APMCs have collectively led to sustained low farm income in India. This has led government and policy makers announcing mission of doubling farmers' income by 2022. The government is aiming to reorient agriculture sector by focusing on income of the farmer over next 5 years, and governments at various levels are actively promoting schemes to ensure net positive returns to farmers. The list on the screen shows various schemes and government interventions in the past. Some of these schemes are important from the preliminary point of view, like most recent schemes like PM Krishi Sinchai Yojana, PM Asha, PM Fasal Bima Yojana, etc. And other schemes like PM Sampada Yojana and ENAM are also important when it comes to realizing better price for agricultural produce. There have been other interventions in digital as well as legislative fronts. Coming on to PM Kisan scheme, we need to understand this scheme in the background against the backdrop of the rising agrarian distress. The PM Kisan scheme was announced in the interim budget 2019-20. The government intends to transfer 6,000 rupees per annum directly into the bank accounts of beneficiary farmers. The objective is to provide assured direct income support to small and marginal farmers. Intended beneficiaries include vulnerable landholding families having cultivable land up to 2 hectares, that translate to 4.7 acres. Here, two things have to be noted. This is an assured direct income support, primarily targeting the most vulnerable sections among Indian farmers. Secondly, this is for the landholding farmers, farming households. Government estimates that 12 crore small and marginal farmer families will be benefited from this scheme. PM Kisan will be fully funded by the Union government and it will be implemented in the current fiscal itself. If you are following the news reports, the government has already started paying first installments of the scheme to farmers. Significance of PM Kisan. This scheme is a first ever income transfer scheme for Indian farmers. This is important from prelims point of view because there have been direct benefit transfer schemes in the past in the farm sector, but this is the first ever income transfer scheme for farmers. This is not linked to price policy like the MSP or any other schemes. So farmers are risk free. This can aid to the goal of doubling farmers' income by 2022. 2 years ago in the economic survey, there was a debate about universal basic income. PM Kisan is said to be a modest version of the UBI, which was envisaged as a substitute for a plethora of subsidies for poverty alleviation. However, it is to be noted that PM Kisan is neither universal nor is it a substitute for farm subsidies. Another important point to be noted here is that the existing land ownership system in the concerned states and UTs will be used for identification of beneficiaries. And the role of state governments, state or union territory governments are important because they will be identifying the beneficiaries for PM Kisan. According to Ministry of Agriculture, the scheme will be in the form of assured supplemental income to the most vulnerable farmer families, and it will also help them meet the emergent needs, especially before the harvest season. So this is an important step towards doubling farmers' income. This is from the PIB. Moving on to the advantages of PM Kisan. First and foremost, this is an assured income to the most vulnerable farmers in India, especially because there have been complaints in the past. Schemes like farm loan waivers, the benefits of schemes like farm loan waivers have been cornered by larger and richer farmers. So this scheme by its very nature will be targeting the most vulnerable sections. This scheme is not linked to any particular crop. This is crop neutral. Hence, unlike in the case of MSP, this will not lead to any distortions in the agricultural market. Being an income supportive measure, there is no need of procurement and logistic maneuvers. This is another benefit. This scheme is complementary in nature, like we have already seen. This is not going to replace other schemes that are currently running. Income transfer will increase purchasing power of rural households and thereby boost rural consumption. Some experts are of the opinion that there will be good return for investment under PM Kisan due to the fact that farmers usually invest their income on farm outputs, thereby long-term improvements can be expected. Another important point is that direct payment to farmers comes under green box subsidy of the agreement on agriculture under WTO. So this is WTO compatible. This subsidy has no restrictions for that matter. There are international examples of successfully implementing direct payment to farmers, like most of the developed countries, developed nations have similar schemes. The scheme has certain limitations. The first and foremost is the identification of beneficiaries as a challenge, because we have seen that existing land ownership model will be followed for identifying beneficiaries. But we also know that lack of proper land records is a big challenge. So the onus is on the states to ensure that clear land records, titles are provided on time so that the fear of exclusion of the vulnerable and needy farmers is proved wrong. Opposition is of the opinion that the amount announced in the scheme is grossly inadequate to meet the needs of farmers. The amount translates to rupees 1200 per acre per year or rupees 17 per day per household, lower than the Rangarajan Committee's poverty line estimate at rupees 32 per head. So some people criticize this scheme because this is an election year. Another important criticism is that this scheme leaves tenants, landless agricultural laborers and others and the rural poor out, because we have seen that only landholding families are eligible. So this is not inclusive. The fiscal burden due to this scheme is expected to be around 75,000 crore. There are some states which are running similar schemes already, like Kalia of Odisha. So duplication of efforts can be expected. The DBT model has inherent challenges because of lack of infrastructure and low level of financial literacy in India. This scheme can be said to be in the nature of direct cash subsidy. So structural issues remain unsolved hence long-term solution is needed. Looking forward towards reducing the farm distress in India, state and UT government should provide effective and timely support with clear titles. There is also a need to continue support under other schemes currently run by the union and state governments like PM-Asha. With experience gained through the implementation of the scheme, the income transfer scheme shall be amended to suit Indian conditions in a better way. That's all for today. Thank you so much.